Yeah. And we are back. Yeah. Another episode of FYB presents the Ivy League. That's no doubt, no doubt. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? We're live right now. I'm live on Instagram on the JoSpyda IG. I'm also live on the Fire Your Boss IG. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. I'm excited because we have another episode of the Ivy League podcast. So I'm excited. We're going to have some good conversations. Shout out to everybody that's joining in, whether you're on the FYB page, whether you're on my page, whether you're on the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube. But let's just go ahead and get introductions going. JoSpyda, FYB, I represent the fresh. It's a fact. And listen, today, I know you can't see it because I'm sitting down right now, but I got Make America Remember. That is the Play Black Wall Street, the board game shirt. So, you know, we always support them. Simba, I need you to take that over there. Take it over there. Play Black Wall Street, the board game. So shout out to y'all. I also got the Peace, Love, Peace, Love, and Positivity brand shorts on. So shouts out to y'all for doing that. And supporting Simba. Hey, we're not gonna start that today. Go home. Go home. We're not gonna do that today. Home. My bad, y'all. I got Simba acting cool. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Steve, introduce yourself, big dog.
Man, what's happening, everybody? Man, I go by Steve. Man, you can follow me on IG at ogslick.__. And today, man, I got on that Midnight Organic Tech. Yes, Lord. You feel me? By that Larry June, by that guy. You feel me? So that's what I'm rocking today, man.
My boy Scott said, give Simba his screen time. Come on, bro. Come on, big time. You know I can't do that right now. He gonna steal the shine. He gonna steal the shine. You feel me? So listen, so today we're talking about quite a bit of things, right? We're gonna talk about obviously the first thing first, we're gonna talk about, man, I just had a birthday. You feel me?
Here we go. Yes,
I gotta show love, right? I just had a birthday. I'm in my Kareem year, you feel me? I'm in my Pippen year, you feel me? It's my Jesus year, you know what I'm saying? 33rd, you feel me? So it's a blessing, man. I just celebrated my 33rd birthday yesterday. So shout out to everybody, man. I just want to say thank you to everybody that took the time out, you know what I'm saying, to wish me a happy birthday, to show some love, whether it was text, Instagram post, a comment, a DM, whatever. You know, I haven't been too like big when it comes to my birthdays these past couple years, just because of everything that's kind of been going on with the world. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have been losing their life and whatnot. I just kind of been more like thankful and appreciative, and you know what I'm saying, so trying to be around loved ones and whatnot. So I didn't really do too much, but I had a good time. I went to Napa, you know what I'm saying, got a great massage at a winery in Napa. Went to go see Marlon Wayans. He did a stand-up routine out there. So got to see him live, which was really dope. And it was just great, man. I really am just thankful, you know what I'm saying, for that. I know Steve, man, Slick, man, you got a birthday coming up soon, man. You got any big plans?
Man, no, not too much, man. Just kicking it with loved ones. I'm gonna just be kicking it, man. I'll be birthdays. I mean, it's always good. I mean, shout out to you, brother. You know, because always celebrating another year of life is special. You know, because we never know when it's gonna be our time to be be called home. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people in the last year or so that we've all known that didn't make it to that 33rd birthday. You know what I mean? However it may have been. So it's just good and a blessing, just to enough for me to just for both of us just to have another year of life, on this planet here with our families, loved ones. I mean, that's good enough for me as is.
That's a fact, man. That's a fact. So I'm definitely, man, excited for you. You know what I'm saying? Excited for me, excited for us. The fact that we here, you know what I'm saying, we continue to do, big things. So let's jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? What's a lot of things that's been trending lately on social media right now has been KeKe Palmer and Darius Jackson. For those of you who might not be familiar with the situation, KeKe Palmer who's a famous actress, singer. She's really like a mogul, right? Honestly, in the Black community and just in the entertainment industry as a whole. She went out and she has a kid. She just had a kid about 4 months ago, a young baby boy. So congratulations to her and Darius Jackson, who is the father of her child. She went and attended an Usher concert, as many people do. I've actually gone to the Usher concert in Vegas, and let me tell you, I was like pretty much front row, and he puts on an amazing show. Anybody and everybody who's out there, if you have a chance to go see Usher live, do that, because that show is amazing. Bruh, it's one of the best live shows I've ever been to. So I would definitely encourage you, if you can, go see Usher. But anyway, KeKe Palmer went and attended the great Usher show. And there's a time in Usher's show that where he goes out into the audience and interacts with the audience as a successful performer would do, as he's been doing his whole career, and I'm sure of it. And so he went out and interacted with the audience. At the show that I went to, they had not Usher, but Method Man was there at that show. There was a couple other like producers and engineers that was at the show. And then he had what's the girl that Nani Asamoah married? I forgot. She's an actress. She played as dang, she's a really dope actress. I'm forgetting her name, but she played in that show where like she's a lawyer and she's like the best lawyer ever, and but she's like messing with the president. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a Black woman. Nandi Asamoah's wife, man. Oh, Olivia, I think is what her name was in the act as in the show. Oh, dog, they gonna kill me, man. They gonna kill me in the comments. But if anybody know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about if you know. But basically, Olivia Pope is her name, as her actress name. But Scandal, that's the show I'm thinking of. Scandal. What's the girl?
Oh, I could see the face now. I cannot remember that lady's name.
But anyway, the star of Scandal, she was there. Anyway, I said she was there. You know what I'm saying? So Usher went. Kerry Washington. Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate you, Kerry Washington. Yes. So when I went to the Usher show, Kerry Washington, Method Man, people was there, and so like Usher does this serenade thing, like which he's done with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's normal. You feel me? As a part of his show, as a person that's attended, and then based on what I've been seeing on social media, he didn't do anything different. But she was there, and KeKe Palmer was there, and she was dressed. She had basically kind of like a see-through dress with a thong. But it was still a thong was behind the see-through dress. And, as Usher was singing to her, she grows up, she gives him a hug and holding on to him and singing and all that good stuff. So that's essentially what happened in the video. And then the father of her child, Darius Jackson, he goes into basically kind of goes online and it's like, basically saying, criticizing her online, saying he didn't like the way she was dressed, or it was inappropriate or some sort of that. You can go look all those things up for yourself. But basically that's essentially what he said. He just wasn't feeling, what she was doing and what she was wearing. So first off, Steve, give me your perspective. I'm getting some feedback from your computer, so I don't know if your thing is too loud or your volume is too loud. But anyway, go ahead, give me your perspective, your opinion on what you've heard so far, or what you think about the KeKe Palmer Darius Jackson situation.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's an interesting take, man. I think that, I would say from my perspective, I personally thought it was cat on her part. But I mean, first thing I will say, especially when it comes to like very public relationships, especially between a celebrity and somebody else, we really don't know what the stipulations of their relationship is. You know what I mean? Did he know ahead of time that she was wearing that dress? We don't know, because I know some people are quick to criticize, but he might have been okay with how she was dressed. Going to the concert, he might have seen the outfit like beforehand. So I will say, we don't know the stipulations of their relationships and what their agreements are and what they are and aren't okay with. Now, I mean, me personally, putting myself in his shoes, I understand how he feels. I just don't agree with how he addressed it. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, me personally, I wouldn't want my chick dressed like that. I don't care who it is or what the experience is. I don't want nobody serenading up on my girl in front of everybody. And on top of that, people know who I am. They know that you date me. And like I said, people don't know the stipulations of our relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't look good, like for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, I think for some people who disagree with it, I think it's not necessarily just the outfit. I think it's just the situation as a whole. You know, I get, you know, women want to go out, look good, you know, be sexy, like that's cool. But I mean, I wasn't in agreement with it if I was dating her. And you know what I mean? Nah, you know what I mean? Like we don't really know. You know what I mean? It's just like, nah, you know, now some couples, like some dudes, they're cool with all of that. You know, they feel like, hey, you know, she comes home to me and you know, that's my lady. I'm not tripping. Now, I think he was wrong for how he addressed it. I get that it was something that happened publicly. You know what I mean? But I don't think that you should have checked her or addressed her publicly, especially not somewhere like Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that any relationship or anything that is you know, discussed between two people in a relationship, in my opinion, that should be discussed like privately between the two people that are in a relationship. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be talking about, you know, you're the mother of your kid in front of everybody, you know, really in front of the world, you know what I mean? Because everybody knows who you are, everybody knows who she is. You know, I think that he should have kept that matter private between the two of them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I was not fooling with what she was doing, but, you know, I don't think that bro handled it the right way by trying to address it publicly.
Okay. So what I've heard a lot of in the comments, right, or what I've read a lot in the comments was some people were saying things like he shouldn't be saying anything because he doesn't make enough money to say anything. And I've also read things like, you know, you should be quiet and go to the kitchen or go finish changing them diapers, or you lucky to even have somebody, you know what I mean, like KeKe Palmer. We don't know you. We know KeKe, we don't know who you are. You know what I mean? What do you say to somebody, to some of those comments?
I would say they don't have any right to speak on my relationship and what I choose to get upset about. I don't care what the circumstances are. You know what I'm saying? Like what do you mean go in the kitchen? Like it doesn't matter. Like this is my relationship and this is my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? If I don't like something that my girlfriend is doing, I have the right to tell her about it. You know what I mean? And we can have a hope, at least I would hope, in a healthy relationship, we have a discussion behind what made me upset or what I may not feel comfortable with. You know what I mean? I think that's the problem, you know, especially in a very obviously public relationship. I mean, that's what comes with it. You know, people are gonna make comments. You know what I mean? I mean that's just what it is. That's just the nature of what comes with dating a high profile woman like a KeKe Palmer, who is a very strong Black woman, you know, who's a very popular figure within the Black community. But I mean, to the people in the comments, I'll say, mind your business, bro. This is my relationship. Okay, what y'all?
But I don't know. So, because here's what I feel like you can't have it both ways. You can't put your relationship information in public and then say mind your business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you either you gonna have your relationship out there in the public in regards to the good and the bad, or you just gonna keep it private, the good and the bad, and you just gonna let them see what you want to see. You know what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
talking about him saying something publicly though?
That's what I'm saying. Like because he addressed it in publicly,
Oh yeah.
you got to say that. But hold
I
on,
was just
look,
saying me personally though.
somebody on
Like
the
you know what I'm
IG.
saying?
Hold on, because somebody on the IG said those comments are satire to men who use the same verbiage when women divorce or leave wealthy men. Oh, that's a good point. I appreciate you. Appreciate your comments.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but go ahead. My bad. What were you gonna say?
No. I was saying that was just my personal thing. Like I mean, I would honestly agree with you though. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying because like I said before, I think he was wrong for addressing it publicly. So that's what people start saying about you. I mean, that's where I said, kind of just going to my point, like that's why he was wrong for addressing it publicly.
But
You know
that's
what
what
I'm
I'm saying.
saying?
So it's like, so now that he's addressed it publicly, I feel like you can't then backtrack and say, well, it's my personal business, stay out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see.
So, so I don't necessarily think, she said she's so confused. Somebody said so confused. So I don't know. Let me know what you're confused about in the comments, and I can kind of update you or whatever. But yeah, so I feel like you can't say you can't publicly say I got an issue with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if somebody comments on it publicly, then you say, well, I can't address it. So that's what I'm saying. Now that it's out there in the public, because of him, right? Which we both can agree that was. Let me just say my perspective, my opinion on it too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Go ahead.
I feel like, bro, you're cat. You know what I'm saying? Like you can, Simba, get down, go home. You cannot, like, I empathize with how he feels in regards to what happened. Because at the end of the day, if your partner has done something wrong to you, that you feel like is genuine, like they've wronged you, you got a right to express that. You know what I'm saying? You got a right to express that. What I don't agree with is expressing it to the public before you even address it with that individual one-on-one. Or maybe they did. I don't know. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not in a relationship. I have no idea. But in regards to the way that you address it, in my opinion, you feel me? Because you just told everybody else that there was friction in your relationship. While there's friction in your relationship, it's not like how Beyonce and Jay-Z, when they came out with their albums, they were both over the situation. They had passed. You feel what I'm saying? So by the time everybody else got caught up on it, it was like we had been healed and recovered and got remarried and all these type of things. So we're good. That's why we're able to release this to the public now, because we've overcome it. But I feel like in the midst of it, he went to his emotional side and just released that, like, oh, I got a problem with da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? The thing I don't like about the comments, and this is kind of going back to what on the FYB Instagram Nigerian Princess, she said, those comments are satire, right? Like it's like the same way that we say we don't want women to have that kind of perspective, right? Of like, you don't have a right to say what a man do. You lucky that you have that rich man, or you lucky that you got this dude. You shouldn't be talking. Go back in the kitchen or go back to change some diapers. Like, you wouldn't want a man to say that to a woman. So why would we put that on him? You know what I'm saying? Like, on that individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, if bruh has a right to feel how he felt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's their relationship. I don't know what they've talked about, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. I don't know, because every situation is different. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I think that it was kind of messed up the way he was getting dragged, but you also deserve it because of what you decide to put out there. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I'm like, you got what you got what you asked for. You feel me?
Didn't he have to deactivate his account too?
Oh yeah, man, they deactivated. He deactivated.
See, that's his fault, bro. See, and that's why in the same, I was kind of like, okay, well, who do you think is? Are you saying that he's the most wrong in the situation too, as well?
Excuse me. That's a tough question. You feel me? I say that's a tough question because I don't know. Oh yeah. My homegirl Caitlin, she said a conversation could have squashed everything. Facts, talk heavy. So I don't know. It's hard to say who's more wrong, because if he genuinely feels like the outfit or what she was doing on Usher was wrong, I feel like, I don't know. It's hard to say who's more wrong, because at the end of the day, I feel like once you let it go public, in my opinion, you're like, you kind of doing the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that once you let it go public, because it's like, my thing is, you could have just kept it a buck when she got home and been like, hey, yo, you got me messed up. Like straight up. Hey, you cat. Like, we will never have you do that again. If you ever want to be with me, I ain't having it. You feel me? He could have did that and just checked her when she got home, but instead, like, he checked her in public. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know the status of their relationship, because I'm not really one to do intense research about somebody else's relationship. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You feel me? Like, honestly, if it wasn't for this BLB podcast, we really wouldn't be talking about it at all. But I do think it's you feel me? I do think that dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, but I just saw that. I just saw somebody posted. Overall, I think they're both wrong, but IG only gives you so many characters. Y'all would have to bring me on. We got to bring you on. We ain't tripping. We'll have you on the podcast. We can talk about it some more. You know what I'm saying? We definitely can. So, but I just think that it's hard for me to say who's more wrong, right? But I just know that both parties played a part um in harmful behavior. You feel
Yeah,
me, when it comes to their relationship. But the part that I don't like is the encouragement of people who are probably not happy with themselves or not happy in their own relationships or not happy with their situations, encouraging her to leave him because of that. You get what
yeah,
I'm saying? I think, to me, it's just like, bro, like, the last thing we need is more single parents. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Like, especially when we talk about black women raising young black boys. You know what I'm saying? Because you and I both know the statistics and what the chances are, right? There's a more likely that he's going to, fail in school, more likely that he's going to have behavioral problems in school, more likely that he's going to commit crimes, more likely to go to jail, like more likely to go to prison. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you set that person up? Now, again, she's still a celebrity. She got money. She can, and she's still fairly young. She can still find somebody else. But this idea, the issue that I have is this idea of like promoting this, yeah, you could do it by yourself, when in reality, that's not that's not conducive to a successful, healthy society. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I
yeah.
think that
That's awesome.
anybody that encourages a person to become a single parent, when the studies show that single parenthood does not produce successful outcomes in regards to productive members of society, right? Especially when we talk about
Mhm.
single black mothers raising young black men. I think I have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, let's just have them work it out. They both did some things that I think were out of pocket. But was it so out of pocket that there's no reconciliation from that? None
Right.
whatsoever. Like, because of what was said and what was done, was there something so harmful or so foul that you have to then end what you've chosen to procreate with?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Based on a
Yeah.
temporary union. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel you. I mean, I would agree with that notion. Not just to add to that, though, I think that unfortunately, with social media has created this notion or this snapshot now of like relationships, and people forget, even despite what's going on between the two of them, that's just like that's a part of relationships, is ups and downs and disagreements and somebody doing something wrong. And we forget relationships are about two people working together through conflict. Like, I think you made a good point with like Beyonce and Jay-Z when they released their album and talked about all their problems. Like, people forget, like, even in marriage, like, people, like, relationships is about working through your problems, even when somebody or both parties have done something that is, wrong. You know what I mean? Whether it's, the husband doing something to the wife or the wife doing something to the husband, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, I think now, like, social media's created this thing where relationships is going on dinner dates, taking wearing matching outfits and laying up underneath each other and kicking it. And that is not what relationships are. You know what I mean? It's a constant everyday thing, like a job, with two people working together towards a common outcome. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I would agree with that. Why would we push, being single or to break up? And it's like, that's part of the problem today. You know what I mean? People aren't working through their problems. As soon as it becomes, it's not, white picket fences and butterflies and all that other kind of stuff and puppy love. Like, no, relationships are hard. And these are things that happen. I mean, she just happens to be famous, but these things happen to regular people all of the time. You know what I mean? It's just on a, obviously it's on a larger scale, again, because of who she is, but this is just a snapshot of how relationships can be or are. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I would agree. I just think, I think it's just kind of corny for people to be pushing through that instead of, but again, that's social media. You know what I mean? Like people don't kind of forget people who are sad themselves. They want other people to be sad with them. And I think people miss that as well. You're muted.
My bad. I forgot I was muting because Simba was barking. I had to check him in the background. But but misery loves company. You know what I'm saying? And people tend to forget that, right? Like if somebody is hurting, right? Hurt people. And sometimes that hurt isn't always I'm going to hurt you like intentionally. Sometimes it's that, or I might not even overtly hurt you. It might be a passive way that I'm hurting you. You know what I'm saying? Like I might hurt you by leading you astray. You feel what I'm saying? Like I might hurt you because I'm basically pushing my emotions out onto you and projecting it into your situation. And then now your situation turns into my situation. But had I not have done that, your situation could have been greater than my situation. You know what I'm saying? Or better than my current predicament. So that, I think that's one of the things that I struggle with, is that like too many people are promoting this separation between, especially between Black men and Black women. You know what I'm saying? Like they're promoting this clash, this anti, right? Like I can't stand it, because in reality, like we need each other. And I think some of that, and y'all bear with me, the listeners, I think some of that also goes into this whole idea or the concept of equality, right? And again, bear with me, right? Because I'm going to explain what I mean. Like men and women, right? And we're talking about cisgender, heterosexual men and women. We're not talking about the LGBTQIA plus community. We're just talking about the cisgender norm heterosexual men and women. When I say men and women are equal, I don't mean equal. I mean equal in value, not necessarily equal in what they do, right? So I kind of see men and women's equality being this, right? My arms and my legs are equally as important to me in regards to how I function, but they serve two different purposes, right? If I had 4 legs and no arms, with 4 feet and no hands, I would be in some trouble, right? Or if I had 4 arms and no legs, 4 hands and no feet, I would be in some trouble, right? But they serve a very specific function, but they're still equally as important to me, right? So when we're talking about the, cisgender heterosexual relationship, I'm talking about equality in regards to value, but not doing the same thing. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people over time have equal. Nigerian princess say equal value, different position. Talk that talk. That's a fact, yo. Your role as a Black woman who's raising a young Black boy, your role is very important, but it doesn't substitute the role of what a male or a man and that masculine energy within that child's life is. We need both of those for the better chance that they can be a productive person in society. And so I think for me, a lot of what I'm hearing is, well, girl, you a quote unquote boss bitch and don't worry about it. And it's interesting because I think it was Hollywood Unlocked or The Shade Room. It might have been one of those messy face or Instagram pages there that they posted, like, KeKe Palmer was doing a rap and she was just like, I don't need a man. I don't need a nigga. All I need is a bag. At Essence Fest recently, what's her name? From Houston, what's her name? Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion said, we don't need you. I'm quoting her. We don't need you niggas. We just want you. And that's just not true, right? Like I feel like you can't, I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit too long-winded right here, but I feel like you can't say protect Black women, but then also say we don't need you, right? Because to me, those are like contradicting statements, right? Like you need protection, right? And I agree with that. You need protection. But why would somebody, like, I saw this video today. Oh, my sister just posted something. Shout out to my sis, Capri. She said, unfortunately, social media has become the new normal for everything negative. It is so sad, especially for the new generation, no matter your status. It's sad. 100% correct.
Facts.
Sis, I appreciate you for joining. 100% correct. It's a double standard for sure. Thank you for supporting, it's love. I think I saw someone today. I was watching a video and they said, for women, right? They said, imagine if your relationships, like if you were like a business, right? Like the way that you approach a relationship, imagine if it was like a business, right? Imagine if you went to Starbucks and you said, hey, I would like an espresso, right? And they were like, we don't care we don't need your business. We don't need your money. We don't care. He was like, but I would just like a number 2. And then they make it and they'd be like, well, here you go. And it's like, instead of an espresso, they gave you just a latte. And you'd be like, but that's not what I asked for. We don't care. We don't need you. We don't need your money. Like, how would you approach it as a business? Like if your relationship was a Yelp page, you did a way better job explaining it. I think it was on the page of like Back to Kings or Kings to Men or something like that. I can't remember that page. But like if your relationship, if personality, right, was a Yelp page, what would your review be like? What would the customers say about you? You know what I'm saying? What would you have 3 stars or 2 stars? Would you like, you cannot say that you don't care about me, but then tell me that I need to protect you, because why do I protect what doesn't value me? Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, and again, I apologize for being long-winded, when it comes to our men, we have to, it's okay to feel a particular way, but we have to learn to express ourselves in a healthy, productive way.
Yeah.
Because too many of our young Black men are going out into society, right? And they're not taught how to express themselves, and that's when they become disruptive in the classroom. That's when they become violent. That's when they become aggressive. That's when they become bullies, or that's when they become criminals, right? Because they haven't found a healthy, productive way to express themselves. Social media is not the best way to express yourself when you are feeling emotional.
Yeah.
As a person who's done it, it is not the best way. What you got to say about that? I know I've been going on.
I was just listening to you because here, what I want to say is this. Luckily I was a young Black male who was blessed enough to grow up in a 2-parent household. I was blessed to be able to have that and have 2 Black parents at that. And, and I was also blessed enough to have, more than one family around me. I had my immediate family, and then I had like my God family, where I was able to get a lot of love and see a lot of different family dynamics in a lot of different ways. I will say, I think you made a very good point about how, yes, we are very different, right? But we do things differently, but both parents, both genders are both equally as important. You know what I mean? At least in my household, and I can just speak only for myself, my mom was a very loving, nurturing mother that could give me a lot of love. And my dad was very structural and gave me a lot of, he gave me a lot of discipline and instruction, right? 2 different roles, right? But both of those things were both equally important in my development as a young Black man, because there will be times where, pops might be off at work, I'm at home from school doing whatever. I'll be honest, I knew I could get away with a little bit more with my mom around. You know what I mean? Like whether it was getting into trouble, whether it was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing, coming in late, it don't matter. If his mom's is there, I'm getting away with a little bit more, right? As opposed to as soon as my pops walk through the door, I'm tightened up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there was that discipline there to make me have to respect the authority that's in the home. You know what I mean? And both of those things kind of work together to help me kind of develop myself as a young Black male as I was growing up, because and I think both of those things are both very important. I couldn't imagine if one was taken away, let's say like my dad was out of the home, well, I'll probably get into a little bit more trouble because I know like disciplining and instructing is not was not my mother's strong suit. Those weren't her strong qualities within the home. So maybe I am getting into a little bit more trouble. And those things, as we get older, as we're developing, especially when we're young in our psychological development, like, you can do a little bit more. I had a friend of mine too, you know what I mean? He had his homies back in the day when he was early in high school, you know what I'm saying? They was his close friends was like, hey, and then both of our parents were very similar, you know what I'm saying? But he knew, hey, they were saying, hey, bro, let's go rob a house, right? Let's say they go, let's go rob a house. He's thinking about it, but he's also thinking in his head at the same time. He told me, hey, bro, I thought about if I do get caught and my dad find out, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's over if I get caught. You know what I'm saying? And lo and behold, he backed out. He said, hey, nah, bro, y'all go ahead. They got caught. You know what I mean? And he could have been a part of that too. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm just saying the dynamic is we had someone who could have easily been in the system at a young age, but because there was another parent in the household to discipline, to instruct, you know what I mean? It deterred him from being able to, make some poor decisions at an early age. You know what I mean? So I just think, I just don't like how social media portrays that we don't need each other. Yes, we do. Black men need black women and black women need black men. Yes, we do. We're both equally as important. And I hate how social media is, causing us to consistently be in relationship debates, and all of it's just divisive. I don't care what nobody says. It's divisive. And I just think that, again, we need each other. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. And that actually kind of brings me to my next point, because I talked earlier about black men being able to learn to express themselves appropriately, right? And express how they feel and things like that. Now, this, we're going to take a quick turn because this isn't a black man, but this still is a man, a successful man in society who kind of figured it out, right? Or it seems like they figured it out. So Jonah Hill, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, had posted online about their communication. So Jonah Hill essentially was messaging her saying, hey, listen, if you want to go out with, have male friends and, post seductive pictures online, and if you in bikinis and you want to post, and hang out with surfer guys and things like that, that's your right to do that. And I respect you, but I just don't want to be with a person like that. So I want to make this work, but if it seems that you care more about that stuff, then go ahead and do that. I'm not feeling it. And Sarah basically screenshotted the text messages and posted and was like, yo, he's super, he's super, I think it was like abusive or narcissistic or something like that. I can't remember. It's those same lines that they use anytime a guy basically has standards for himself or whatever, right? It's like he's abusive and manipulative or something like that. And again, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words or terminology that she used. But she was like, I need to do this for my mental health. And finally people know. And you kind of saw that it backfired, because a lot of people, after reading the text messages, they were like, it sounds like bruh just said he has some standards and this is what he wants to have in a relationship. And if you can't do that, he said, you have the right to go do whatever you want. But if you want to be with me here, this is where we stand. You know what I'm saying? I know you didn't know too much about that, or were you familiar with that at all? But, what is your perspective, what I'm saying, on Jonah Hill basically kind of setting a standard, and the perspective of what Sarah, kind of did, Sarah Brady?
Yeah, I mean, is she is she a celebrity herself as well?
I think so. I think she's like a surfer. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, with things like that, though, I think that goes back to my point, to kind of when we talked about the KeKe Palmer situation. It's like, people discussing what the standards are going to be in their relationship, what they are and aren't okay with, right? I think in this particular thing, from what I'm being told, you know, again, I don't know a whole lot about it, but just, you know, from the best I can put it, you know, based on what I've heard, is it sounds like he handled it pretty well. You know what I mean? If you're dealing with someone in a certain field or a certain profession, or depending on who it is, you have to, one, know who you're dealing with, right? And you have to decide for yourself whether or not you are or aren't okay with certain things. That's just like, again, like if we say like you know, a Meg the Stallion, you know, her dressing a certain way and twerking and all that, that's a part of her brand. That's a part of how she markets herself. And you know, there may be some dudes, if you want to date her, you're gonna have to deal with her, you know, shaking her stuff up on stage, being half dressed. But that's a part of her job. Like that's what she does, right? You have to make a choice for yourself. If you want to date her, is that something that you're okay with? And I don't think that there's a right or a wrong answer to that. It's what works for that person if you're going to decide to date somebody. So I mean, I would say on his part, I think he did a very good job of expressing himself and just setting a standard for what he is or is and is not okay with. You know, now the male friends thing, I don't know what that was about. I don't know what there was enough information. Me personally, I mean, your girl gonna have male friends, bro. You know what I mean? Now, is he talking about?
I don't know about all that.
I mean, I'm just saying, bro. Is
I
it
don't know.
is it her going over there hanging out with them by herself?
I think I'm paraphrasing here but I think it was like basically you shouldn't have any male friends aside from like just going to grab a quick brunch or lunch, and you
Oh
should be
yeah.
comfortable with me going. I think it was that. But again, I
Okay,
don't
that's
know
cool.
exact because I know it's gonna be some fact checkers gonna be like, he said specifically, but I don't know it word for word, bro. Again, I don't care enough about these people's relationships. I'm just saying
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
It's more of the thought process. That's what we're doing here. We're talking about the conversation of how this is similar to other people's relationship situations. So I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's fine. That's what my point is. Like, I mean, your girl is gonna have some male friends. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, you know, if he's not comfortable with her just going to go kick it with a bunch of dudes without him by herself, just out kicking it, nah, bro. Like, you know, there's gonna, you know, that's his standard. You know what I mean? Like he's saying, no, I am not comfortable if I'm not there, and you're going. I don't care how long you've known them. If you're gonna date me, then we can go together and go hang out with these people. You know, can I meet them? Can I build a friendship with them as well? You know what I mean? But you know, there are some people in his case, it's like, you know, they're not having it. So I mean, I think on her end, I think you have to respect what his standards are. I think that that's just from what it sounds like. That sounds like someone who is just not okay with being told no. You know what I mean? It sounds like someone that is not okay or respecting somebody else's boundaries for themselves. So I don't think it was okay to go public and flip the narrative if that's what happened to try to paint a picture of him just because he told you no.
Yeah, hold on. It looks like my sis said, well put, far as male friends goes. When your relationship changed for a single human being, then you should respect his wishes. Not cool. He did the right thing to let her know, to let her go to the streets or run away. That's a fact. That's a fact. Sis, keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? Here's my take on the relationship thing, right? For me, just a different spin on it, right? This is just, again, my mind, I kind of started thinking about patterns and things like that, or just different things or correlation, whatever. It's interesting for me because this was an example of a way that mental health has been manipulated to try to shame people because you didn't get what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? To publicly shame people. It's like, he's abusive. Look, right? And this is kind of why I have an issue with the whole believe all women thing, when it's like, no, listen to all women, but believe all of what's proven, right? Believe all the facts. Like, if it was believe all women's mean, we have to believe that he was abusive in that situation because he set a standard. Believe all women, I mean, we need to, you know what I'm saying? Like Travis Rudolph should be in jail, right? That's believe all women. Travis Rudolph should be in jail because he beat his, you know, beat her and all this type of stuff. And that's just really not the case, right? I think we should listen to all women. Like, we should listen to their situation. I heard that idea actually from Charlemagne the God, so I'll make sure I quote my sources, right? He was like, listen to all women, but believe all the facts. Like, too many times people especially nowadays, people have weaponized social media. Like they've weaponized the idea that they know that women are typically seen as the victims, right? In any scenario. I was talking to somebody earlier and I was like, I was saying like, if we saw in a movie a woman slap a man, we're like, right? But if a man slaps a woman, we're like, he needs to be in prison. How can he do that, right? So what we're seeing is that some people have learned to always, they know that they're going to be the victim no matter what. So they want to put that spin on it and to use that to their advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like we become desensitized to the fact that like women can be abusers. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, right? Like, because to me, I saw an abuser. I saw this woman try to manipulate, destroy his career. She tried to destroy his fame, his notoriety, simply because he set a standard. This is what I would prefer in my relationship. Now, I will say most men cannot communicate that well. I'm just saying, oh no, I don't know. I'm gonna say based on my anecdotal experience. I'm not gonna say because I don't speak, I haven't done a research study, you feel me, on what most men think. I know that there's too many men, but I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Oh my gosh. Somebody tag Charlemagne. That's like funny. But I don't want to make it seem like I know what most men, but I'm gonna just say, based on my anecdotal experience, most of the men, the males that I know, that I communicate with, they do not they do not express themselves and communicate that well. But for me, what I kind of saw was even when you do, you still have the idea that, or there's still the fear that a woman can still manipulate what you say to her benefit, because there's still a bunch of people in the comments most of them were like, yo, this sounds actually like pretty legit, like cool. But there were still some people like, he's just insecure, he's big, he's chubby, he needs to go lose some weight, he needs to go do it. And it's like, I'm saying, it's like, and my thing is, so what? It's okay with him being insecure about his weight. He still has to set a standard. And it's what's wrong with him saying, this is my standard, if you don't meet it, it's cool. I'm gonna go on to somebody that can. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I don't like the way that social media has been weaponized, how the women who are victims, legitimate victims, have suffered, but there are ones who aren't suffering. They aren't really victims. They're actually the manipulator. They're actually the aggressor. They're actually the abuser. And then they flip it. Same way with what was Johnny Depp's the girl that sued, or that talked about
her name, but I know what situation you're talking about though. That was crazy.
It was crazy. Like, she literally went on a whole run about being abused by Johnny Depp, and come to find out, you cut this man's finger off. You know what I'm saying? She severed his finger. You know what I'm saying? Like super abusive. You know what I'm saying? But she played that victim role and cost him. Amber Heard, that's her name. Appreciate you, family. Thank you. Amber Heard, right? So it's like, you literally abused this man and then went in and played the victim role because you knew nobody was going to believe a man if he says, I've been abused. There's a face, or not a face, but a YouTube page called We Need to Talk, right? And it's I think he's like a Nigerian man, and he interviews a bunch of different people, and he talks about this, and he talks about how, like, you're playing the victim role and you know that they are going to believe you. But the reason I brought up that page specifically is because there was a police officer who was interviewed on that page, and or a former police officer, I think he is, but he talks about how there's been times where he's gone to like a place where they called the police and the dude was being abused, and they still arrested the dude because you know what I'm saying? Because of what the girl had said. And then later, because it was at like a child care center, a daycare, they had cameras. And so the woman's coworker saw what happened on video and submitted the footage, and that's how Brett got off. Otherwise, he'd have had domestic violence.
That's crazy.
So it's like too many times, like, we go in assuming, well, she's right. It's almost like the way that we don't want police to be 100%. We don't believe all police, right? Like as Black people, if the police said, well, he was reaching for a gun, we'd say, no, show me the proof. Show me the proof, or I don't believe it. Show me the proof, or you cadden, right? Like it's the same thing. Like show me the proof. Like I'm gonna hear you out. I'm gonna hear everything you have to say about the scenario, but you have to show me the proof. And in this case specifically, her proof, in my opinion, like it was wrong. And that's proof right there that you don't know what you're talking about. You are abusive. You need therapy. You need to seek help. Just because you didn't get what you wanted, you tried to destroy this man's career. You tried to destroy this man's reputation and blame it on mental health. I did it for my mental health. It was killing me inside. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. You're abusive. That was another soliloquy. My bad. Go ahead. What you got to say about that,
though? No, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I think that that's why it's very important to. I'm trying to how to put this. I mean, very keen on, like you said, I think it's good to listen, to all women and be able to listen, regardless of what's going on, hear people out. A lot of people want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think it's very important in any situation like that to make sure that, again, both sides are being heard. You know what I mean? And in this case, I think it's like you said, I think that's the biggest thing. I saw this when it first started, when social media was really starting to take off. I was just watching how a lot of different people were weaponizing social media, you know what I mean, as a way to prove a point, or even people who may not know what it says being true or not. If this is a way for my page to get clicks and likes, I'm gonna go in with the narrative as well. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different avenues here on how social media is being used, how people are using it as a way to paint a certain narrative, just because somebody else set a standard, because somebody told you no. You know what I mean? I just think that I think it's it's like you want to come up with a solution, but how? You know what I mean? Like what does the solution in that case even really look like? You know what I mean? I just think that I think Jonah Hill did a very good job again of, like you said, expressing himself. A lot of male, especially young Black males. I mean, he's not Black, but most people men in our community, we have a hard time feeling something, sitting on it, and then putting it into words and then expressing it in a healthy way. You know what I mean? To tell somebody something that at the end of the day we don't like. You know what I mean? So I think it's sad, because I think the best thing to do is just to respect that person's boundaries, the same way that women would like their boundaries to be respected amongst a man setting a standard or asking for something and then saying no. I think that his wishes should have been respected in the exact same light if we talk about equality. You know what I mean? So I mean that would be like my thought.
Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. And so I kind of want to bring this back to, the whole point of us having a podcast, right? Is how does this affect the Black community, right? Like in my opinion, and in your humble opinion, how does this affect the Black community? But, from what I see, the way I feel like it's hurting the Black community, because on both sides. I feel like when we talk about the Black males, it teaches us that there's no space where you can be heard. It teaches us that even when, and again, obviously the Jonah Hill, Sarah, Brady, they're not Black. We acknowledge that. But what I'm saying is that what Black men and what all men have seen constantly throughout social media, throughout mass media, is that their feelings don't matter, that they're useless, that and that honestly, like, no matter what you say or do, you're wrong, right? And for me, I think that's a dangerous precedent to set. I think that's a dangerous position to have for Black people and for Black, because we need each other. We need each other's full effort. And my concern is that when you don't allow people to express themselves, they they end up internalizing a lot of it, and then it ends up going out elsewhere, being projected elsewhere. And I think that it's a dangerous precedent, in regards to the Jonah Hill thing. But in regards to go back to the first thing we talked about in regards to the KeKe Palmer Darius Jackson situation, I think ultimately, we should not allow everybody else in your home. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
your issues, like, should remain in house. Like, once you go outside that door, everybody should think everything is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's supposed to know that there isn't. And if they do, deny, deny, deny. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fine. We fine, because the second you start to allow those outside the home to creep in based on, your emotions or your temporary whatever, like, ultimately you're going to find yourself in a tough situation, because it's hard to climb out of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. It really does hurt the Black community. And our goal, part of why we created the podcast, part of why we do the Wise Word Wednesdays, it's to help people improve, to help people have a better understanding, to talk our talk. Don't get it twisted. We still gonna talk our talk 100%. You feel me?
Yeah.
But
Right.
part of the reason we created these platforms is to be able to express ourselves, and so that people can listen and learn, and so that we can learn, and to document this learning process that we have, so that ultimately people don't look at us and think that we have it all figured out, and think that we've always had it all figured out, or that we never had any issues. But I think what social media does is it gives people this heightened sense of perfection, right?
Yeah.
And flawlessness. And I get it, that because I'm saying nobody should know your flaws in regards to what's going on, but it doesn't mean you can't talk about them after you've recovered from them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying you shouldn't talk about it while you're in the midst of the storm, because ultimately that allows for other people's perspectives and opinions to sway your decision. And we all know that relationships are one decision away, right, from never happening anymore. You know what I'm saying? One decision away. A wise person once told me the reason me and my wife hadn't got a divorce is because we didn't want one at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know right there that you can't just base it off of your feelings, right? You have to base it. You have to say, when you decided to get married, you decided to make a decision. I'm going to stick to this person through sickness and in health, rich or poor, right? But I think now it's become, oh, just leave him and go get a new one. You know what I'm saying? Or just leave her and go get a new one. When in reality, it's like, bro, you made that decision. Now, obviously, there are certain circumstances, there are exceptions to every rule, but exceptions don't make the rule. The rule makes the rule. You know what I'm saying? So what you got to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like what you said in regards of how it hurts the Black community, when we talk about safe spaces, you know what I mean? When we talk about, especially for, both are important, but especially, what stuck out to me is for Black men in particular, especially when we are talking about depression, mental health, we're already kind of trained as it is to not feel our emotions, not express them, because it, quote unquote, it makes you weak, right? Or I'll expose a weakness if I show emotion in these different areas. So it's like in regards to kind of relaying that to the Jonah Hill situation, obviously, again, we know that they're not Black, right? But I will say, I think I see that happen a lot to a lot of young Black males, where it's, oh, express yourself, express yourself, express yourself. But when he expressed himself, look at what happened to him. You know what I mean? It's like a catch-22, and I think that social media is hurting us in the regards of like those safe spaces, those very private spaces where we can talk about something in security. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to. I think social media has really taken that away from people, and, like, the privacy. People shouldn't know. Social media has created this narrative that people are supposed to know. People are supposed to know. That's what social media has created. It's like, if someone we know right now had gotten married and had a kid, and the kid was 2 years old, and we just now find out, some people would be like, what? Like, you just now posting this? You just now? It's like, hey, bro, have you ever thought about the fact it's not your business?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. People feel the need to post everything now. If I were to get married, have a kid, and people found out 2 years later that all that had happened down the road. I hope I'm explaining this right. I'm not trying to confuse the listeners, but some people would probably feel the way or think that I'm weird in some type of way because social media has created this narrative that everybody is supposed to know. No, they're not. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay for you and your partner to have that privacy amongst each other, to talk about issues, work through, even when it comes to being married and someone stepping out or cheating. That's not for everybody to know. That's the number one problem, is people going and venting to their friends about what their partner did, whether it be a man or a woman. You know what I mean? So I just think that we're losing the ability to have safe spaces, the ability to have privacy, the ability to, adding to the problem of young Black people, young Black males having spaces to express themselves. So, I mean, that'd be my take.
No doubt. I do want to acknowledge this comment. My sister came back in. She said, exactly, as a mother, she's raising a Black queen and a Black king, and their voice matters. They will know the difference between love, manipulation. My son will know just because he cries or expresses his feelings doesn't make him less than a man. And that's the problem today. You can't express yourself freely without someone being negative. And I'm not playing that. He and she will feel safe always. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And I will say, I can vouch for, obviously, I mean, I'm biased because she's my sister, but this is one of the best, one of the best women that's out there. You know what I mean? And she's dedicated and you know what I'm saying? She's dedicated to her husband, dedicated to her children. She's been putting her work in, you know what I'm saying, for years. And I know, just obviously through knowing her story, like, it hasn't been easy. She's had challenges. They've had challenges raising children. And this society is difficult as heck. Like, it's hard, but she's made a way, you know what I'm saying? And shouts out to all the mothers and fathers out there trying to make a way, for their children. It's a challenge, but definitely it's important to make sure that your children have healthy ways of expressing themselves and understand the difference between manipulation and between true love, because a lot of people will use that word to manipulate people to do what they want. So it's really, really important. Yeah, that's it. I know we're gonna try to wrap things up because we about to hit an hour, and I don't want to drag this on too long. Any last words that you want to leave the people with, Slick?
Man, and last words would just be unapologetically you. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Express how you feel in a healthy way, obviously, but always stay true to yourself. You know what I mean? If there's one thing that you can always be the best at is being you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what I want to leave the people with. Be unapologetically you. Don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be afraid to express yourself, love yourself, and encourage yourself to speak kindly to yourself as well.
That's no doubt. Real talk. I guess for me, you know what I'm saying? She said, great message, brothers. Man, we appreciate you tapping in, sis. For real. That's love. That's love. I think my final message is just, we have to figure out a way to come together. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of, listen, I don't care how you feel about Black men. I don't care how you feel about Black women. At the end of the day, we need to work together. We need to work together. Everybody can't, and whether it's brother, sister, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's mother, son, I'm saying, whether it's pops, I'm saying, whatever it is, at the end of the day, we got to figure out a way to work together because we need each other. You know what I'm saying? We need each other because our future depends on it. And right now, it doesn't look good in regards to the way it's being viewed on social media. And this is why I love what Jill Scott was talking about during her Essence Fest. I think it was, Essence Fest performance. She was like, do you see how the manipulation of mass media and how they're saying, a bad bitch, boss bitch, like all these things, right? And she's like, do you see how they're trying to call you like nigga this and nigga that? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, what happened to brother and sister and queen and king? Like, what happened to those, right? We need, each other. And it starts with us making the decision. You know what I mean? And just quick side note, it's interesting how R&B and hip hop are the main ones that talk about, like, don't need no man, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, or don't need, like, they're encouraging this separation between the black men and black women. You know what I mean? It's R&B and hip hop. But like if you go to country music, I don't hear all the country artists or the top 10 country artists all saying men ain't nothing. The top 10 female country artists, right? They're not saying they don't need no man and men ain't nothing and I don't never need you and I can do all good by myself. That's not what the only thing they're talking about. But every single song from the top female artists, R&B and hip hop, it's all saying what you don't need. You don't need this. You don't need that. And you know, we need each other. That's all. I'm because I can go into a whole other event for that. That's for a different conversation. But I just said all that to say we need each other. And in whatever capacity that is, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for black women looking out for me. That's just a fact. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for black men looking out for me. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying we need each other. So we need to stop trying to push this I don't need you agenda. I could do it all by myself, because nobody who ever became anything successful or great, nobody ever did it on their own. So this idea that you can do it by yourself, it's a lie. It's a lie. And it's what they're doing. I'm not gonna say that. What people are doing are trying to get you isolated, because the best way to kill you is to separate us first, and then we can pick us off one by one.
Talk heavy.
Pick us off one by one. My boy Chill, my name Dev said popular black figures need to push love and strong families. 100%. Tay, I see you out there as well too, man. Checking us out. So we need to push love and support. You know what I'm saying? It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's cool to joke around and talk crap and all this. But at the end of the day, we need to push love and support. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need to be fighting each other. We don't need to be killing each other. We don't need to be going at each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just need to push love and support. And so that's what I'm gonna leave you with. Man, I appreciate it. Odell said that's the new age, 1 year older type wisdom. That's a fact, man. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that joined on the IG live, from the JoSpyda IG live to the FYB IG live. I appreciate y'all. Every single person that's watching on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. We went live today. I truly appreciate it. Shouts out to my man Billy, who decided to join in for a quick minute. You know, it's all love. I appreciate you, big dog. FYB presents the Ivy League.
Ha ha!
We fresh. Appreciate you.
Peace out, y'all.